Heavenly Father, we always come to you and we ask that we turn to you first and foremost for guidance and wisdom. Lord, as we come together and as we make deliberations on our students and our staff, we ask for that guidance. We ask that you just be with our country. Let us come together, Lord. We ask that you be with those in Levy County that are suffering and those that need any help that you can give them, Lord. Please be with them. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Just the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda if there are no changes.
I move to.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions, any comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to take this time to welcome all our visitors here tonight. Excuse me. At this time, if there's anyone that would like to address the board about a non-agenda item, you're more than welcome to. We can't vote on it, but we'll gladly hear you out. So please come forward and introduce yourself.
My name is Suzanne Seaman, and I'm a parent of 4 kids at Yankeetown School. And the reason I'm here tonight is because I'm concerned with a lot of stuff that's going on at the school. Biggest concern is the principal. She does not have the kids' best interest at heart. I have fought for the last couple of years for my son. He's got a lot of health problems and learning disabilities. Last year, I was told that he was getting speech all year long. Come to find out, he was only getting language. I've reached out to her. She calls me umpteen times a week, want me to come pick him up from school. The kids aren't getting what they need. The principal just does not have the kids' interest at heart. I've called her several times. She does not call me back. I've gone up there to see her. They either tell me she's in the meeting or she's not in the building. When I do speak to her, she wants to turn everything around, that it's a home environment, and it's not. I had a problem about a month ago. I had this girl bullying my 12-year-old daughter that's in 6th grade. Ms. Hurst tells me because my daughter tells the other kid to leave her alone, it's not a bullying issue, to the point that my daughter tried to cut her own wrist, but that's not a bullying issue. It's just issue after issue with this principal. It gets nowhere. I've called the school board. Superintendents don't call me back. Last year, Edison didn't call me back. I've called Chris several times. I don't get a call back from him. I get nowhere. And at this point, I just feel like this school has gone from an A school down to a B school, down to a C school, down to a D school to now. These kids are not getting what they need at this school. And we need someone to step up and say, hey, listen, what is going on here? Let's do better for these kids, because these kids deserve a school where they're going to learn. My son's not getting his ESC like he should be. I have another kid that's got ESC. He's not getting what he should be getting. I had to fight last year, told them that my son that's now in 2nd grade had a learning disability. They kept telling me, no, it's a maturity thing. I said, no, it's not a maturity thing. There's something going on. It finally took them a whole year to test him to decide that he's got a learning disability. I'm getting nowhere with these principals. I'm getting nowhere. I really need y'all to step up and say, hey, let's take a look at this school and see what we can do to fix it, because that's what it needs. And this principal needs to go, and we need someone in there that's going to help these kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Seaman.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Hi, I'm Rose. I teach pre-K at Yankeetown School. I have some of the same concerns. I've been there for 7 years in pre-K. I've been in the school system for 28 and a half years. I'm going to retire soon, thank God. And I don't feel that Ms. Hurst is doing her job like she needs to do to have the kids' best interest. Over the last 2 years, I've watched the school go in a bad direction. I've seen some of the best teachers in Levy County leave due to Ms. Hurst. I can give you a list of names. There's 10 of them. Because of her bullying or retaliating against them. There was more parents that were going to come tonight and had decided to back out of coming because they were scared that Ms. Hurst would retaliate against their kids. So that's why they're not here. She don't communicate with the community anymore. Miss Helen from the Women's Club, she used to do all kinds of stuff for our school. And I know that she's come up there numerous times to see Miss Hurst and she's never available. She's called her, she's never available. She'll call her back, doesn't call her back. I have really major concerns of what the school's going through right now. Every time I have personally, I never had a problem until the last 2 years with Ms. Hurst. Never, in 28 and a half years. I've never had a bad evaluation, never had anything. The last 2 years, she calls me up every time I say something, I open my mouth about concerns I have, then I'm getting written up or I'm getting accused of something or there's something going on. I get called in. I get threatened with my job all the time. If I don't like it, I can leave, which I think is unfair because I've been there a long time. A prime example is this year, my classroom went from a 1,100 square foot room to a 600 square foot room. I have 15 students. I'm supposed to social distance. I don't feel that this is a safety. I think it's a safety issue because there's nowhere for the kids to go. I mean, I keep my seating charts, my nap charts, my lunch charts, all that stuff. And I just don't feel, and I've discussed it with Marla, I've discussed it with Dr. Hall, and I've discussed it with Laura Club. I just don't feel that anything's getting done. Besides that, I'll probably get in trouble for being here tonight. So I'm sure that I'll get called in this week at some point. And I have a letter from one of the parents. Can I take my mask off?
Sure.
Breathe. This is from Shelley Stalls and Brian Stalls. Thank you for reading this letter to the school board on my behalf. Good evening. We are the Stall family. Both of our boys attend school full-time at Yankeetown School. Our eldest son is on the autism spectrum and both of our boys have ADHD. In the past few years that Danae Hurst has been principal at Yankeetown School, we have had several issues with her. She has threatened us with trying to send our oldest son to a different school for special needs children. Our oldest son had a custodian put his hands on him. When I reported and filed a complaint with the principal, it was brushed off and nothing was ever done. The ESE teacher, Jody Nagel, was pushed out of the school at the beginning of the school year because of this. Our son hasn't received the amount of hours that he needs and now is behind with his ESE hours. He hasn't received the correct amount of help since the ESE teacher has left. There has been several teachers come and go in the middle school since the beginning of the school year, which has caused both of our boys' grades to drop. One teacher didn't even last 2 weeks. In October of this year, our youngest son was involved in an altercation at the school with another student. When Principal Hurst called to inform us of this incident, she didn't go into detail about what happened. When I asked, she simply said, "Thank you," and hung up. I called the school back to speak with her, and I was informed that she was in a meeting. So I left her a message to call me back, and she never called me back. I sent her a private message on Class Dojo, and in person, I went to the school and was told that I would receive the paperwork. That was it, and that was from the secretary. I have called the school several times since this, and she is never available to speak to me or this incident from the principal that happened. She is never in the building at the time, and she doesn't return phone calls either. My husband and I feel that she is biased towards certain families and children that attend YTS. We need a principal who is willing to talk to our parents and not be biased towards anyone. Someone who can help keep things fair between all our children and family and staff. Thank you for your time, and we hope you can make a change in the near future for our kids. That was from the Stahl family. I have pictures I'd like to show you guys. Is that okay?
Sure.
This is my new classroom. You can see it. This is my last year classroom, and this is where it's at now. There's pull-ups in there.
So this is this year, this is last year?
Yes, last 4 years.
Last 4 years.
And that's what the class is being used for now, is they pull out, the reading coach pulls out kids, and that's the other class in that building that's suitable for my class to be in, that's being pulled, having kids just pulled out. So my 15 kids are in a 600 square foot room and expected to mingle and be safe. And I just don't think that's fair to them. And I asked her again, when we came back from Christmas break, if I could move back to the elementary wing because there's two classes over there. And she politely told me no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your classroom looks real nice. So looks like it'd be a good place to learn.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You guys can come anytime you want to come visit my class, because the kids are always learning.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Teresa Mulligan. I have 3 students in Yankeetown. I also am a substitute for Levy County School District. Because I have children in Yankeetown, I tend to sub in Yankeetown, so at Yankeetown School. But because of differences that me and Ms. Hurst have had between behavior with my children, because 2 of them are ESE, and I am fighting to get my 3rd one tested to be ESE student as well. She refuses to call me. And my issue with that is my ESE students are not getting their services because they're pulling ESE aides and people who do pull-outs for ESE to sub, because when they have somebody suitable to sub for them. I worked there for 3 years. I've applied for several positions that became available through Yankeetown and got looked over. Didn't even get interviewed, nothing. Also, there's the safety issue there. We had, my students have became in contact with somebody who had COVID. And instead of calling us the night before, say, hey, don't send your students to school, our students went to school. I got a phone call. There was at least 15 parents in the office, in the small space office, as they're dismissing these children to us. There were children running in and out the doors. I mean, my kids, it would have been easily pick up somebody else's kid and walk out the door. When addressed, she said she wasn't even at the school that day. When I addressed her about it, it got shrugged off. It's just, I feel like she's not doing what she needs to do for our students. My kid's been there. I have a high schooler who's fit to graduate, has been all through Yankeetown, and I've just watched it go down and down and down since then. So it's very difficult right now because I'm trying, I was going to switch my students out because of my new work schedule and the fact that, COVID and everything, I'm not able to get my kids into a different school to get them a better education. It's just frustrating as a parent, as somebody who's going to school for this, for the education field. Something needs to be done.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you coming here tonight. The attorney will probably tell me not to say this, but I want to tell you this. As far as I am concerned, no child, no parent, no employee should ever be fearful of coming to address this board. If you have a concern, you're a citizen of Levy County. You need to be able to bring that to the attention, and that way it can move through the channel and we can see what can be done. I appreciate you coming here. I'm gonna throw this on the superintendent. I don't want to hear of any of these ladies having repercussions for coming and talking to us. That's unacceptable.
It's more of our kids.
Our students.
Or the student.
Because she does do that.
I'm very pro ESE kids, and you got to fight for ESE kids. And I don't like any kid feeling like they may get come down on because there's an issue. Okay.
A lot of times they don't want to come forward because they're scared of what the consequences of it on
There you
their
go.
side.
Well, you should always, one of our big things is we want our kids to feel safe, and that's part of feeling safe. So, Mr. Superintendent, we're going to turn that over to you.
So, Mr. Asbell, as you know what our mission statement is, we pride ourselves in educating all our students in a safe environment. And I know this to be a fact, and I know I'll look into these allegations and make sure that everybody is given due process to provide a response. So.
Thank you. Anything else, you ladies? Thank y'all for coming. Now we'll call on Mr. John Lott Jr. for our Chiefland Middle High School construction update.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. We're going to show you some videos. As you know, you've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I just want to say that, you know, this project really started in November, and so we've only been going a few months, and I think you'll be amazed at what our contractor, Parrish McCall, as well as everybody who's been involved with this project has been able to do over there. First of all, I'll show you where we're at. So this is the stages, and I know it's a little confusing, but right now, I've had a pointer, but they say it doesn't work. So it'll work if you stand right in front of it, which kind of defeats the purpose. But the light green is the first phase, phase 1A. So you see it's got a square around that, and then over on the far side, which if you were looking at the front of the school, would be behind really what is the current kind of gymnasium. We're working on that. That's going to be the new cafeteria. So they're working on that. That's building 700. And then back over here to the left, the light green is going to be, that's the part they're working on now. That's going to be CTE. That's going to be high school. And then they also have, you know, a big retention area. So then you'll see the different phases are outlined by different dates. And so things are going to kick off next year. I'll tell you, it'll be a lot of the rest of it will be done, and it'll be a lot of transition. And so it'll be trying times really next year. It'll be the toughest year in this whole process. It's a unique project because we're building, demolishing, building, demolishing. So the transition is going to be difficult, but we've got plans in place, and we'll do the best that we can to still maintain our mission while obtaining a new school. So why don't you go ahead and show that first flyover. Now I'll tell you these waypoints. You see, notice the road. They're starting to build a road. This would be coming in from over by Dr. Martin's office. The fields, the athletic field, baseball, softball is over to your left. And if you're not familiar with the campus, and you can see what they're doing here. This is a drone footage that is done by waypoints. And so I'm going to show you, this is the very first one. And then I'm going to show you the latest one, which happened actually last Monday. You can see that they're starting to work. They've cleared some trees over here on the right. They're preparing, this area is going to be a huge retention pond. Anytime you put asphalt and concrete down, you have to create retention. Obviously, permits are done. You notice that little building there as we're coming up there to the right? That is that equipment building that you gifted to the county. It weighed 40 tons, by the way, and we wanted to give it away so that we didn't have to move 40 tons of building, and it did them some good as well. So, so now we're coming over to the current school, and we'll get a good view of White Ford, by the way, but that's just the way the waypoint went. Notice that we still have buildings over here. This is the gymnasium. The current gymnasium, but you know where those cars are parked in this building here on your lower, all of that will very soon be gone. So yeah, again, if you're looking for a Ford, there's some there. There's a white Ford. This ball court here with a concrete pad to your left, and you don't get a good view, but we'll give you a better one in a minute. That right below us right now is going to be gone, and that's where the new cafeteria is being built. And then you'll get a better view of the 400 building as you come up the beginning stages of the 400 building. So that was in November. You can stop it now. You can see they're going to have to do some power poles, some new power poles to restructure all of that. So that was November. That was very shortly after they began. And this was taken Monday. Notice Mount McClellan, as I call it over here on the left. That's all the fill and different things they brought. You see that beginning to that road is now being paved. This will be a permanent road once we start, and this will be one of the entrances to the front of the school. It'll be very long. It'll be parent pickup, so it'll be a long staging area, so we don't get some of the issues that we have currently in some of our schools where we're out in the middle of a public road. So that's good. You see over there to the right, all those trees and things that they were clearing are now a nice retention pond. You see some temporary parking areas that they've created there on the left. And as you come up, notice that equipment, that cell tower equipment building is now gone. The county did come in and pick that up. And you can see on the left there, that is all been poured now. So in just a few months, they have got the footers, they've got concrete poured. They were there at 3 a.m. last Friday pouring 2 sections of that. They had to do it all in one day. They worked all day pouring concrete. I can't remember exactly how many cubic yards of concrete they poured on last Friday, but it was a lot. So now we're coming back up on the next building. You'll see that they've taken out that one building. They're beginning retention area there. This again will be the area for the new cafeteria.
I think they got more cars now.
You see they started, this building is a little behind the other building. Obviously, they're going to pour the concrete for the slab, I believe, the second week of February for that particular building. You see on the right, now they've got it fenced in better, but that little trailer on the right is actually their construction trailer. That's their headquarters. You have to come in from the back street to get to it. And this is going to be our CTE wing and some high school buildings. So this is a different view of it. So you can stop now. And then we'll take a little bit closer view. I know those waypoint, it's kind of nice because it goes the same route every time. So it's kind of nice to compare, but it doesn't really give you quite the view. This is, again, the cafeteria. And they're starting to put in the piping for the water, electrical, all of that. You see the beginnings of the exterior walls where the footers are. And this was outdoor basketball courts just a few months ago. This is the 400 building, which again is more complete. You can see that they've gotten block. You see the guys on the scaffolding there laying a block. The center line as you go through there, it will be that will go all the way up to what's called a mezzanine, which is sort of a catwalk that allows us to get in the attic and service any kind of electrical or other mechanical in the attic. And so they're moving along very quickly. They're going to be setting trusses as soon as they get these exterior walls complete. They'll be setting the trusses in the next few weeks.
Is that the hallway I'm looking at? Be informed.
Yeah, that will be a hallway, and it'll be, again, that's kind of the central structural for lay the trusses across, so it's all part of that. But yes, that wall will go all the way up to the mezzanine. Show the I forgot about this one. This is just a little bit different view. This is what they call the center line. There's probably, I don't know, there's probably 60 of these videos, because every week on Monday they send us a new one, and you're welcome. I can share that with you just to see the progress. But they're working. Everything's working smoothly so far. We've had hiccups. Breezy can tell you about some of the things that they found as they started doing, breaking the ground, and we found things we didn't know was there. So we've had to work with them. I want to show you this. This is you know, things that we have so far direct purchased. So instead of, you know, the contractor purchasing stuff, we purchase it. And so you can see we've already purchased over $2 million worth of stuff from this job. And by doing that, we don't have to pay taxes. So we've saved right at $126,000. As a matter of fact, I've got one that I just approved it, so another $5,000. So really, we've saved about $130,000 so far by doing the direct purchase. And obviously, you know, the more we save by doing this, all this money has to be spent on this project, but it allows us some things to add to the project in the end. And so our objective is to save as much as we can by direct purchase so that we can roll that right back in for things that are beneficial to the school and to the students. I showed you, all right, I don't think I showed you, but we're getting to do things like pick out the brick. So this was the brick, and that we tried to match the existing brick on the current admin building. So we went out there with samples and held them up and tried to figure out what. This was the one. It's called Williamsburg, Old Williamsburg. It's the one that most closely matches the existing admin building. Remember, there's only going to be about 4 buildings total that will still remain after this school is complete. And one of them is the current admin building. And then we'll have the health room. We'll have the current middle school gym will stay. And then one other building in the back will stay as well. So we're starting to do things like that. We met earlier this week, and we're trying to get pinpoint what kind of samples we want for roofing. So that'll be our next big choice that we'll have to make. Again, we're trying to match it as close as we can to the existing admin so that, you know, it doesn't look strange. We got one building, one color, and another, but that's the process we're in. We have 2 or 3 meetings a week. We already had one meeting this week where we talked about things like, and we had different people there, like Miss Julia was there, went through the cafeteria furniture, made sure everything was just how she wanted it there in the cafeteria. We had teachers there to talk about how the general classrooms, they want them set up, what kind of furniture they want, what kind of things do we want in the rooms, such as how many charging stations do we need, how many electrical outlets do we need, those kind of things were all discussed. And so again, we're just kind of fine tuning the overall plan. We still have not gotten down to a lot of things like colors of trim and that sort of thing. We have talked a little bit about paint colors and stuff, but so we're moving forward, and it's a work in progress. We have another meeting Thursday for telecommunications, so it's constant meetings and discussions, but very pleased so far with the progress. And they have a tight schedule, but so far we've had good weather. Everything has worked, and they're very happy with the things like, for example, the materials that they're getting with the concrete and the blocks and things like that. They said these guys come and do schools all across the state. They said it's some of the best that they've seen to work with. So everything so far is going well. Do you may have any questions?
I just have one on the health room that's remaining, and I know the auditorium's remaining. With that extra money that you're saving, are those going to be upgraded on the inside at all with furniture like the rest of the school is getting?
We're hoping to do that. Yes, we even talked about some things that we might be able to do on the exterior of those as well. We got to get some clarification from DOE. We think we were able to do that because they are on the same school site. So I think it'll be favorable that we'll be able to do some things with that money. You're right.
I got 2 questions I'm gonna ask from now till the time we get done building the school. We do have budgeted for air conditioning in the gymnasium.
Yes, sir, we do.
And second is I know we probably have already put a plan together for the technology part of it, but have we fully funded it in the beginning budget that put all the technology that we want in the school from the beginning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Looks good, Mr. Lott.
All right.
Thanks, sir. All righty, we now head over to Mr. Bennett. Class size compliance. Yes.
Good evening, members of the board. So as you may know, there is a class size compliance requirement written into the Constitution of the state of Florida. And that requirement reads that for grades pre-K through 3, there should be no more than 18 students per class. For grades 4 through 8, no more than 22 students per class. And for grades 9 through 12, no more than 25 students per class. Because all of our schools are district schools of choice, this requirement is calculated at the school average level for each band separately and considers only classes defined as core classes by the Florida Department of Education. Those are defined in the state course code directory. Schools that are not in compliance with these class size requirements face a financial penalty, which can be greatly reduced with the submission and approval of a compliance plan if needed. This information is all reported in Survey 2 in October and again in Survey 3 in February. But the Survey 2 in October is the one that matters for the class size financial penalty if one is required. So I'm here tonight to talk with you a little bit about how we did this year in the October Survey 2. And as many things, COVID-19 threw us a little bit of a curveball this year in this area, as in many areas. All schools were compliant in all grade bands except for Joyce Bullock Elementary in their pre-K through for them 2 grade band, and Williston Elementary both in the pre-K through 3 grade band for the 3rd grade only, and also the 4 through 8 band for their 4th and 5th grade. Now, the reason that this happened this year is that we were thrown a late curveball, frankly, by the Florida Department of Education. Right when the survey started, FLD informed all school districts that the students that were participating in the innovative learning model, what we in our district called option 2, they were going to be required to be counted in class size. Now, we had coded those classes, as with all of our other core class, brick and mortar classes, as blended instruction classes. In other words, classes where instruction's carrying on both in person and online, in our case, through the use of the Canvas system. Well, so what that did is it essentially made those classrooms that were the innovative learning classrooms at some of our schools the focus of really the only thing that would count for those schools this year for class size. So the out of compliance numbers that we have this year for those 3 grade bands are reflective of only the innovative learning classrooms at those schools, okay? So the numbers are pretty high because the numbers were high in those innovative classrooms since they were being taught predominantly through Canvas. The problem that we had is that their brick and mortar classrooms were also either right at or slightly over class size themselves. So unblending those regular brick and mortar classes, that's our term, would not have helped because they would have still been over and would have put more students in the factor of calculating the penalty. So that's where we're here today. We do have a compliance plan, which I believe is in your packets. The good news is that our district has chosen to sunset option 2. And so the teachers at those schools that were affected, Joyce Bullock and Williston Elementary, that were teaching option 2 have shifted now back into the brick and mortar classroom. And so that has helped both schools in reducing the numbers in those existing brick and mortar classrooms by being able to spread out some of those kids to an additional teacher. So that is actually the essence of our compliance plan that you have before you. And I'm here tonight to ask you for a motion to approve the compliance plan as written for Joyce Bullock Elementary and Williston Elementary. But before we do that, I would ask if we have any questions.
So we'll submit the compliance plan and then we'll ask for mercy and then they'll say whether they're going to fine us or not.
Correct. Usually, if the compliance plan is approved, the penalty, which is based on far fewer students than normal this year, because remember, we're only looking at a handful of classes that are associated with this penalty this year, just those option 2 classes. That penalty is typically reduced by about 2/3 with an approved compliance plan. So.
Well, I certainly hope that there's somebody with common sense and creative use this plan for
Yes.
this year.
I agree.
Because if they stick us with a penalty, I say we fight back a little bit on that one.
We can try. There is an appeal process. I think the window for that is closing very soon. Unfortunately, I believe the process for appeals closes before the compliance plan is due. So you kind of have to choose which route you want to go. Again, considering that we're looking at a small number of students, a smaller than typical, hopefully, financial period with a compliance plan, it's probably smarter to just go that route. I don't know that we would have grounds for a successful appeal based on the way all of this legislation and guidance is currently written. So we're at.
So we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion?
I move.
I move to approve the complaint form.
We have a motion and a second to approve the compliance plan. Is there any discussion? All those, oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the state, they'll send auditors and audit our class size, but they
Yes.
won't give us the money to add teachers to reduce the class size. And then they want to give us the school grade, and the school grade is directly reflective of our class size a lot of times. If you're gonna learn better in the numbers that they make us stay in, but just wanna say that.
My experience is that class size is one of those things that it's a very logical thing, but then when you get into the logistics of actually having to staff a school
Right.
that may only have a few kids over in one grade level and a few kids over in another grade level and a few kids over in another grade level, how do you staff that so that you can have something that can impact all of those kids fairly that we're over? That's where the challenge lies. So.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. At this time, I'm bringing before you, so the option on whether our board would like to participate in master board. In years past, we were a master board, and whenever you get more than one new member, whether it be a superintendent or a school board, you have to go back out to recertify. And I think it's been something that members of this board have received positively, and would just welcome if you guys would like to participate in this process again for some professional development. We require professional development of our teachers and our staff. So it's just another opportunity for us as a board and superintendent to go out and have professional development and work together.
Just a question, is this gonna be live, or we're gonna do this via Zoom?
They're still working through those kinks, but I believe they're going to do live. So because the way it works, it would be 2 live sessions, and then it would be 3 live sessions with just us here. So it would be 2 live with 2 other boards. So, and then 3 with just us singularly.
5 sessions.
Yes, sir. So a total of 20 hours, I believe, is what it is.
I had emailed Tina Pinkerson about this because I'll tell y'all plain, I'm very much for master board training, but I am not for it if we can't, at full tilt price, if we can't do the whole thing. And I say that only reflective of me. I'm the kind of person, you put me on a virtual thing, I got to ADD, and you'll lose me. So I didn't want to, I'm kind of like those colleges that are charging the same for online classes as they are in-person classes. It's not the same. So when she assured me it was going to be in person and following protocols and all that, I'm for it. So that's just my 2 cents. But
I will agree with you, Mr. Asbell. I would be in full support of us being a master board if it's in person.
if it's in person, if it cannot be in person, I don't want to do it. That's the way I look at it.
I understand.
All right. Do you need anything from us?
If you'll make a motion in that approving it, then yes, sir, we'll get the PO cut and
I will move that motion.
We have a motion before us that we approve participation in the master board program if it is live and in person. Do I have a second? Is that not correct?
That is perfectly guarded.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I defer to your expertise. Do we have any further discussion on it? You'll like it. Really. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
yes, sir.
Are there any changes to the board minutes from December the 8th?
No.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve on a second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions and comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
carried. Now move to our consent agenda. Are there any changes or updates to the consent agenda?
No, sir.
You want to start tonight, Ms. Boyle, or you want me to start, Ms. Clemency? Oh, I'm gonna throw it to you. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I discussed everything with Mr. Howard earlier, and all those questions were answered. Thank you.
Very good. I tell you what, I think you need to sit closer to Mr. Etheridge so that he can learn how efficiency is right there. Mr. Etheridge, do you have any questions?
No, but I do have a comment or a question, I guess. We have a computer at the district office that was here when I graduated high school in 1993. That's amazing. I just,
Man, you should
we're talking about efficiencies, but if we're still using something from 1993 as a piece of technology, I'm amazed. Appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, technology has moved just a little bit.
It's fast.
We have the internet now. That's it.
It don't even go anymore.
No.
Ms. Clemency.
I don't have anything.
Excellent, excellent. I have one thing, and this comment has got me in trouble before, but I'll say it again right here because I'm kind of like, I'm taking over for Rick Turner being a grumpy old man at the table. We have a person on here who went to work for us September 21st, 2020, and promptly left us for another district a month later. I believe in professionalism. That's all I'll say. And I believe if you commit kids, you stay with kids until the semester is over. And I don't know how the contracts work, and I don't know the rules on all that. But, and I also think Gilchrist County ought to have a little bit more respect for us too, as far as I'm concerned, and should practice the same thing. That's all I have. Is there any, do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
All right. And a second, any more discussion?
Yeah, I got one, but then when you just bring that, because this conversation comes up every time, but are those teachers on yearly contract with us? So they're breaking that contract a month after. I appreciate you bringing that forward because I know it's one of those things where.
And we've talked in years past of going back and reporting them to professional conduct, and basically it's just doing that. So there's no bark and no bite.
Thank you, sir. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Superintendent, your comments and recommendations.
Yes, sir. So there's a lot of things going on right now. Miss Rollins is heavy in ELA textbook adoption. So she was in Gainesville today and tomorrow. So we've got a lot of good things going on. So here in our district, we had some professional development that went on Monday, and maybe not to call Miss Lewis out, but maybe she could talk about the CAMI training that went on Monday of our teacher workday. So
We did. We had 70 teachers choose, so it was an option for them on teacher workday because it's not required to participate in anything, but they took an hour of their time that day to participate in CAM training, which is the program that we purchased in order for them to implement PDF files, and there's all sorts of options, text to speech, speech to text, and ways for teachers to give feedback to kids and kids to respond to different activities in many different ways. So we got a lot of good feedback from our teachers. Part of participating was sharing something that you plan to use and implementing videos. Like they can put in little snippets of instructional videos to go along with whatever activity they're putting out to the kids. So a lot of good feedback, and it was recorded, so we were able to share it out with all of the staff. If they weren't able to participate then, they could see it later. So.
And then also just like to kind of touch back on Mr. Lott. So Mr. Lott's kind of taken that Chiefland project on, so, and is directing that and doing a great job. On Monday, we went over and met with the CRA architect from Tallahassee, so, and the lady from Parrish McCall, Miss Brookins was there. So, and I think one of the things that just kind of amazed her, the progress of how well we've been very fortunate with good weather and how much Parrish McCall is moving forward with that project. Just appreciate Mr. Lott and all of his efforts with that, bringing in Breezy. Breezy was there at the table. And then as we brought in different teachers and different staff, so to be there, to be a part of the decision-making process. So appreciate his leadership on that. So the last thing that, and hopefully this won't be stealing Mr. Etheridge's thunder. So, but on Saturday night, the Williston basketball team beat 4A Rains High School. So, and is ranked 5th in the state. So kudos to the Williston High School basketball team. So a lot of other stuff going on. So, and as you all know, so I take real serious the comments that were made to begin of the board. So I was on Yankeetown's campus on Friday and visited every single classroom on that campus. So, and I will speak with you individually about a few things that were mentioned. So, and share with you the reasons on why things were done. So, and go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Ms. Clemency, would you like to start today?
I don't have too much to say. I too was on Yankeetown campus. That was before we went to Christmas shutdown, and there was a lot of excitement and a lot of, I popped in some teachers' classrooms, and things seem to be running pretty smoothly. So I look forward to discussing that with you too, Mr. Cowart. I want to say just kudos to all of our administration and staff for going to blended back to regular brick and mortar, because from what I understand, it was quite a process. And scheduling, it was all hands on deck. So thank you to everyone that made that happen in all of our schools. That's all I have.
Excellent. Mr. Etheridge?
I don't have a whole lot. School back in session, and the break was great. A necessary need, I think, for what 2020 put everyone through. And I would encourage everyone to pray for our country and the things that are going on in our country today, and that there's a lot of healing that needs to happen, and hope some of the things that are to come doesn't affect us with our school system, and some things will start heading in a positive direction. That's it.
Ms. Boyd?
Just a couple of new things with Cedar Key School. They are welcoming a new SRO officer, Rogers, who took Miss Julie's place, and she was promoted at the sheriff's office. A new PE coach from the district, Coach Whittington, is now there, and everybody seems very happy about that. Homecoming is January 19th through the 22nd. There'll be a few changes that Mr. Cowart discussed with me, but it's happening, so
Good.
that's a plus. You know, they're happy about that. And just if we could just say some prayers for Miss Charlotte Urity, and sad news there, but if we could keep her family and herself in our prayers, that'd be good too.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. I don't have a whole lot. I'm glad to see 2020 behind us. 2021 is going to look better. Mr. Etheridge is absolutely right. Pray for our country. We're in the midst of some strange times, historic times that we have never seen before in our lifetime. And what's going to happen, who knows? But I believe there is one entity in charge of it. He's going to make sure we're okay. Appreciate y'all being here. Great things coming. I just know it. Thank you very. Oh, you want to tell about the Beast Feast thing?
Beast Feast will be February 6th. So we appreciate Mr. Etheridge always welcoming us at the produce shed. So in years past, I won't speak for Miss Brookins, but I'll touch base with her and make sure that you guys are still planning on doing clam chowder, which is
I was going
what.
to say, are we still clam chowder?
So
We don't have Mr. Turner make mullet dip.
that's right. So, but I'll reach out to her and make sure that that's still in the wheelhouse to make sure. So as we're getting through, so.
Excellent. I'm 100% positive there's something I'm forgetting, but we'll catch it next meeting. If there's no further business, meeting adjourned.